Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Welcome once again to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our journey into the strange and unusual worlds of the paranormal. And I say worlds because I think we're dealing with many. There's not just one paranormal realm. I think we're dealing with many realms, perhaps. But hope you guys are doing great. Did you like the spirit fingers? I did spirit fingers without even thinking about it. That's hilarious. Was just a few minutes late because I was trying to call my cat in, but my cat clearly has other plans tonight, which I was not informed. He does this every once in a while. He gets a little far away from earshot and just can't be bothered to run home. So hopefully he'll turn up in a little bit later when I check. But at any rate, hope you guys are doing great. Happy Saturday. God, it's Saturday. It is, and I hope your weekend is shaping up amazingly. Good to see you guys all. Phil Jones, I saw Jeremy's in the house, John Temprin, Wizard Moon, Elaine Clifford, John Temprin again, Cecil Webb Jr. is here, as is Rachel Gets It Right. Who else? Just looking through the names. Deborah Neighbors is here, and Christy Sci-Fi. How you doing? Great to see you. Thanks for coming in. As always, Miss Christy, that's great to see you. Christy's been around the show for years, coming and going, you know, but it's great to see you come back when you can, Christy. It's awesome. Who else is here? I'm just scrolling up through the people that have chatted. BJ Lapierre is here already. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. I don't know where the hell that came from, but sometimes I create new words all the time. Hello, Delilah. Good to see you. Delilah Tex. T3X for Tex. Gotcha. Great to have you here. I'm here. And Kedster is here. Good to see you, Kedstar. And I think that's everybody so far. But as always, it's a rare pleasure to be doing shows for you, with you, but never about you. No, unless you've been a guest on the show. But at any rate, where's another name? Kel. Hi, Kel. How you doing? Thanks for coming in, KEL_. Looks like 2 underscores, actually, but great to have you here. Thanks for coming in. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Flyer Tuck, I see you. I almost missed you. And that's, I think, bringing us up to speed here. Cecil Webb, I already said. Yeah, I think we're up to speed. Big D's over on Rumble with Barbara Mora. So we got the Rumble crowd starting to cook over here as well. So I'm sure more will come in as time goes on. But we got a lot to get to tonight. Of course, we're going to be doing the Discord question of the week tonight after the news. And then we're going to get to... what the hell is that? And then we're going to get to the cryptid corner and an article. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little verklempt here, but I'll get it together. I'll get it together eventually. Or I won't, and that'll be just as normal as getting it together for me. So there's some shows where I feel like I'm really driving the bus, and there's other shows where I think the bus is driving me. But either way, we'll get through the portal no matter how it works out. Yeah, I guess we should probably get to the news. I'm just trying to think if I've forgotten anything or if there's anything I wanted to mention, but I don't believe there is. I think I got to pull up one more news story here. So let me just refresh that. And, yeah, okay. All right, let's see this one. Okay, there we go. I got 3 news stories pulled up for the show tonight. I just found another one as I was sitting here. So there we go. And without further delay, I guess we can get at it. Unless anyone had anything they needed to say. Forever. Feel free to put it all in caps. Forever. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I don't know. I wish my damn cat was home. I know that. That just stresses me. Oh, I forgot to turn on the ghost radar, didn't I? Let's do that before I forget, because you never know. We got to be willing to entertain if the spirits want to say hi. That'd be great if I did it and it said hi right away. It'd be like I get it going and it goes, hi, hello. That would be something. Let's see if they've got something to say. Okay, the spirits radar, ghost radar is on along with the word generator. So let's see if anyone has something to say. It was very quiet last night, actually. Normal is boring, says BJ. That is true. It can be. Although I will tell you, if it's a peaceful normal, then I like it. But, I'm cats are cats. You're right, John. They are. But I don't really like a stressful life. I've lived a large portions of my life under stress and chaos and stuff. And it's like, I'm just tired. As an older guy, I'm just tired. It's like, no, let's just have a happy time now, forever. Amen. The end. Ever and ever after, forever after. But anyway, that's what we got, and that's what I'm bringing you. So I hope you're all ready. Buckle up. We're going to get to some news right now, and we'll find out what's going on in the world around us. And hopefully we'll all learn something together. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news. Let's do it.
All the news you love, from the wild to the weird to the fascinating or interesting, with your host Brent Thomas.
That's me. I'm the host. That's me. I'll be your host tonight. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk as we dive into 3 exciting stories about our world. And again, sometimes these are paranormal, but sometimes they're just interesting, funny, odd, weird, entertaining, or fascinating. It can be all, but I do try to find some things about our wheelhouse, which is the unusual, the strange, the abnormal, like much of us. So, and we're going to start the journey. Remember, during the course of the shows, I always utilize a lot of different websites, and please support these sites. I can't ask you guys enough to please visit these sites. And I will tell you every website these articles come from. And I just hope you guys do go over and support them and visit those sites, because they are exceptionally well done. They do an incredible job. They are top notch and well maintained. And they have a whole host of information and things to peruse. So please go check them out and give them your love, because your traffic equals revenue, which keeps the lights on. For all of the people who host websites, you need traffic. That's how the sites pay for themselves. So let's get to the first article tonight from an amazing site that we've been utilizing for years here. And this site is called unexplained-mysteries.com. And we're going to go to the extraterrestrial files because there's a brand new one that I just pulled up. And this is, have aliens been attempting to communicate with us for decades? Interesting question. I think, generally speaking, there's a lot of people claiming aliens are speaking with us. I don't know that they're all taking their meds, but, and I don't mean to sound like a dick when I say that, but I got to admit there's just a whole host of claims out there. And could they all be right? No, I don't think so. They all can't be factual and true. I think some people are just grabbing attention. I think some people are utilizing it for a sense of notoriety. And I think there could be genuinely valid communication happening in a telepathy kind of way. I don't discount that possibility because I think the universe is all energy. And so communicating across that is probably possible to a higher life form. But I don't think everybody making that claim is being sincere or legitimate, and that's the part that worries me. But I'm sure that's not the spirit of this article anyway. But let's check out what this article is saying. All right, a new study suggests that we may have been receiving signals from intelligent aliens, but simply didn't realize it. That's actually hilarious because I've often thought, when you think of things like SETI and all of those programs that we have that are scanning the stars for signs of techno-signatures, and we're looking for these little blips or blurbs that aren't natural background noise from the universe, but they are signs of something that could be signals from other planets where there's intelligent people as well, or individuals or life forms. But here's the thing, the techno-signatures we're looking for are based on our technological development. Well, there's nothing to suggest that they might have developed technologically in completely different ways. Maybe they used a biological basis for all of their technology. Maybe they used entirely different understandings of the universe around them to create their technology. And so they didn't develop like radio waves and microwaves and things that are out there already. Maybe they developed something completely different that we're not able to check out. And so would the inverse be true? With our developed technologies, could we receive theirs? Probably not. So
chain.
It's a chain. It's a chain of chain. The ghost box says chain. It is kind of like a chain, a logical chain, right? Very well said, ghost box. Thank you. Thank you. And so let's see what this says. Astronomers have been listening out for potential extraterrestrial signals for a very long time, but what if we've been receiving them all along but simply mistook them for something else? According to a new study, one of the flaws in the way we listen out for alien messages, not messages, is that astronomers tend to focus on sudden, inexplicable radio signal spikes. The trouble is, even if a narrow radio signal was transmitted by extraterrestrials far off into space, by the time it arrives here, it may no longer be narrow at all. Instead, it may have been distorted or smeared upon leaving its home star's atmosphere, resulting in a signal that doesn't resemble what astronomers might typically associate with an alien message. Searches are often optimized for extremely narrow signals, said study lead author and SETI Institute astronomer Dr. Vishal Gajar. If a signal gets broadened...
Nairit.
What the hell is that? It says Nairit. Nayarit. I don't even know what that word means. What's a Nairit? Anybody Google that for me, please? Nayarit. Nairit. Okay. It's very talkative tonight. Appreciate that. Don't know what a Nairit is. Could be an alien name. Hello, Nairit. Sounds like an alien name. Kind of cool name, actually. So if a signal gets broadened by its own star's environment, it could slip below our detection thresholds even if it's there. potentially helping explain some of the radio silence we've seen in technosignature searches. In other words, if we could adapt our listening techniques to account for this, we may find ourselves opening the door to a whole host of previously undetected alien signals. Perhaps it isn't that nobody's out there. It may simply be looking for the wrong thing. I think the last part is definitely true. It's a federal entity of Mexico, if I spelt it correctly. Mexican state. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe it is an alien then. I don't know. I thought maybe we were getting some alien communication here for a second. Might be something else in alien, too. It could be greetings in alien, for all we know. Nairit, right back at you. I don't know. I'm just, riding the wave of life here. This still assumes the signal is something that we will be able to pick up. Exactly. An alien species may use a broadcasting technology completely different to our own. Yeah, that's my argument all along. It's like, what if they're not using radio waves? What if they're using some other type of bandwidth or wavelength that we're not looking for, that we're not monitoring for? So I think there's something to that. But anyway, great thoughts all around. So, yeah. Interesting enough, I don't know. I think we're probably going to meet them in person before we actually figure out they've been talking to us, because we just don't know how to listen. We don't know how to listen for technologies we can't possibly understand. That's my take, but I might be just an idiot. You never know. Just saying. You guys all tune in to listen to me. What if I'm just an idiot and you guys are just tuning in to listen to me? That's very sweet of you for keeping this idiot company. But at any rate, some people out there would swear I'm an idiot, so that's fair enough. All right, let's get to the next story. That one was interesting. I think that's worth discussing because, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars looking for these signals. And granted, they've helped us learn about the universe around us, and that's great. So, I mean, it's not like we just, threw it in a hole and buried it. But at the same rate, if they're really looking for communication from other places, other things, I guess we gotta think of creatively of ways to listen, because I don't think that we can just bank on the fact that, well, we build radios, so that's how we learned. They must have as well because they're smart like us. Well, they might be smart in a whole different way, and they may have developed technologies that are completely alien to us. Who knows? But just my take. All right. Good to see you. Justin Goodearth popped in over on the Rumble. Car Juice came in as well. Good to have you guys here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you, lovey. All right. Let's get to the next article. We've got two more to get to. And the next one up is coming from the Science and Technology. I had to look and see how long it was, because some of these articles are deceptively long. They look like they'd be cute little articles to cover on the news, and then they turn out to be books, white papers, if you will. So the next one coming up is from the Science and Technology files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Consciousness is the fundamental basis of reality, physicist claims. Yes. Hi, Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So I agree with this automatically, because what is reality? Well, it's a perceived state of something being real. And for something to be real, you'd have to be consciously aware of it. So, I mean, really. And that includes even faith, like having faith in divine presence in your life, if you feel it's interacting with you, and you're consciously deciding that is a very real force in your life, and it's very real. So I think it sounds overly simplistic. They might be really overcomplicating that, but let's see what it says. I don't know. I don't pre-read any of this stuff, so we're going to learn together what this is all about. What if consciousness didn't simply arise from the physical brain, but was instead the basis of reality itself? Oh, I get where they're going with this. That's a little different take. So what if? I think that's fair. That's a fair assessment, because I can hear Mrs. Portal calling for the cat. Sorry. She does a real high-pitched voice. Maybe he'll come for her because he doesn't come for me. What if consciousness did... I think it requires an intelligence. But what it's saying is, what if consciousness is conscious? Or what if reality is conscious? That's an interesting take. And I suppose if you believe that things were brought into being by some higher intelligence, some divine intelligence, then sure. I mean, it has to be imbued with the energy of that consciousness. And that makes sense. Anyway, I'm probably running my lips too much. Let's see what it actually says. Exactly how consciousness works has long remained one of the biggest philosophical and scientific problems of our time. It's a question of not only how our own minds work, but one that is also perhaps integral to the very nature of reality and the universe itself. While the traditional view has long been that consciousness arises from the physical brain, scientists have been putting forward all manner of alternative theories in recent years. According to Maria Strom, professor of materials science at Uppsala University, wherever that is, consciousness might not simply arise from the brain, but may in fact be the fundamental basis for reality itself. A pervading field in which our individual minds are mere expressions. Everything else, such as matter, space, time, and arise from it. In other words, consciousness is the most basic and fundamental building block from which everything else comes. We reported on Strom's work last year after she suggested that this idea of consciousness could actually explain paranormal and psychic phenomena. My ambition has been to describe this using the language of physics and mathematical tools, she said. Are these phenomena really mystical, or is it simply that there is a discovery we have not yet made? Well, sure. Yeah, obviously. And when we do it, it will lead to a paradigm shift. Hopefully. Although I'm not holding my breath, I'm just saying. Strom's theory may even seems to align with the beliefs of various major religions. The texts of major religions, such as the Bible, the Quran, and the Vedas, often describe an interconnected consciousness. She said those who wrote them used metaphorical language to express insights about the nature of reality. Well, fair enough. Sure. When you think even biblically, when Moses was asking, well, who should I say sent me? Tell them I am sent you. It's like, I am. Oh. And it seems kind of a silly thing or kind of a awkward thing to say, but, it's just, life, I guess, life or consciousness in a sense. The consciousness, the root of all things. And that's a very profound thing. So, I don't know, very interesting. I guess you can believe whatever you choose to believe, but I think there's merit to what they're saying, but the question is, well, I've often thought that we must be ideas swimming in the mind of the divine, that we often think of ourselves as separate and individual and removed and these floating islands of awareness. But I think we're actually swimming in that awareness and we're connected to it. And I think that's a cool thing, personally. It's, I suppose, a very hard thing to nail down in definitive terms because it's kind of an esoteric idea, but I think there's something to that. So there you go. What do you guys think? Is reality conscious? I think so. If you look at even the Dead Sea Scrolls, when you're looking for me, you'll find me in the split log and in the rocks and however it's phrased in there. But it's if you're looking for God, you'll find it everywhere. I like that idea. So there you go. I don't know, some things to think about, words to think about and ponder. Unless if you don't have any kind of belief in a higher power, that's fine too. I can't speak for you, and you'll come to your own conclusions based on your experience, I guess. But we are energy, Jeremy says. Yes, we are. I agree that. Everything is energy, Maggie says. Yes, I agree with that. All matter in its most fundamental form is energetic. That's true. When you break it down to its the smallest parts, the most building block parts, everything is energy. below the atomic, I think everything is energy. Then you start getting into quantum physics and quantums, and then you realize, there's stuff on that level that just cooks your bacon. So it's pretty crazy. We have just begun to learn. We have just begun to learn, folks. We are infants still, even though we get pretty proud of ourselves and what we developed, and rightfully so. We've developed some pretty incredible things, but how much more is there to learn? Apparently a lot. So we got a long ways to go. All right, let's go to the next one, and this will be the last article tonight. And this one's kind of a flashback to a pretty famous UFO story many of you probably have heard of. But for those of you that haven't, this will bring you a little bit up to speed on some pretty crazy events that happened over across the pond in the UK at a military base that the US used in cooperation with the UK. And that is the Rendlesham base. So here we go for the final story tonight. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us the UFO phenomena, fresh calls for release of UK's files on Rendlesham Forest UFO incident. And it makes you wonder. So we know we have a pretty good cross-section of what happened over there based on the writings and talks of Charles Holt. Wasn't he the lieutenant colonel that was in charge of the base? And he had a recorder, and they've never made him hand it in. So he has the recordings of when he was out looking at the site and stuff and talking about the reports a little bit. So we know a pretty good deal about what was experienced over there. Them and the two guards that first encountered the craft in the forest, and then the successive events that followed it. But other than that, makes you wonder what else was discovered, what else was learned. So we'll see what happens with this. Let's read the article and find out. So there are still many unreleased documents pertaining to the UK's most hotly debated and enduring UFO case. Often referred to as Britain's Roswell, the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident occurred in December 1980 when multiple U.S. servicemen stationed at RAF Woodbridge in England witnessed a strange object over multiple nights. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, yep, there it is, and his men had gone out to investigate, but when the unidentified object was spotted descending into the nearby woods, our security team observed a light that looked like a large eye, red in color, moving through the trees, Holt recalled. After a few minutes, the object began dripping something that looked like molten metal. A short while later, it broke into several smaller and white-colored objects, which flew away in all directions. Exactly what the men had encountered that night has long remained a topic of debate. Now filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee, the man behind the recent documentary on the subject, has renewed calls for the UK government to release any files it still has on the incident. His calls follow on from President Donald Trump's recent announcement that he would be ordering the release of any remaining classified UFO files in the United States. With the U.S. leading the way, the rest of the world must now follow, said Lee. Countries like France, Brazil, and others have already declassified files. The UK cannot lag behind. This is the moment to kickstart full transparency here and give witnesses a safe platform. I regularly receive reports from pilots, military personnel, and members of the public who have witnessed or experienced UFO phenomena, but they refuse to go public due to the fear of ridicule. Yeah, there it is. Will we ever get to that point? No, because we have to take it on faith that they're releasing everything, even though there's no way to audit that. There's no way to check and make sure that they really released everything. So they could come out with 3 boxes and say, well, this is all we got. And meanwhile, there's, absolute floors of files in some other location that are, safely away that we would never know about. So if they do release anything, it's a leap of faith that it'll be at all comprehensive or complete. But I bet it'll just be some redacted crap or, some fringe level reports, and they'll say, well, this is it. And we're just supposed to take it at its word. Now, I'm not suggesting you can't believe anything you hear, but I don't believe anything I hear. I think it's funny. But that's the case. If you're not familiar with Rendlesham, you should learn about it. It's a really, really wild series of events, and it's been documented and experienced by several military personnel who were there that have been interviewed. They've got a whole myriad of experience and stories that are really off the charts. It was really a huge event. This was allegedly a non-nuclear site because by virtue of what's the words, treaties with Russia and other countries, we said we wouldn't be posting nuclear weapons over there, but probably there were. Probably there were. They didn't necessarily follow the rules, but and there's no shortage of UFO reports around nuclear sites. There's just it's like chum in the waters. If you want to bring UFOs, start hosting military sites with nuclear missiles in them, and chances are you're going to see some UFOs show up. It's just they're drawn to it. They can tell, and there's many stories. I think even in the Dakotas of like silos using old school technologies. In other words, before internets and stuff like that, and with hard coded technologies to activate, like meaning the two keys and two parts of the room that have to be turned in synchronicity, that where missiles were activated by UFOs that even had those safeguards in place. And then they were deactivated. These missiles were deactivated and basically turned into bricks. And they had to retool all of them, or at least in one section or something to that degree. And I'm paraphrasing this wildly, but there's been plenty of reports of that kind of activity where these extraterrestrial or intelligences or whatever were able to disable nuclear sites just with whatever technologies they use. So really crazy stuff, but that's going to be the last article of our news for tonight. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you had a good time with it. We got a lot more show to get to. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the rest of the show.
When breaking news happens, Paranormal Portal is there.
It's not looking so good out here, Brent.
Award-winning and most trusted news.
Brent, the thief broke into the donut shop in the middle of the night. Be on the lookout. The man is in his late 60s, heavy set, and wearing some kind of hat.
First, live, local.
Is this a paranormal show? Why am I doing the weather?
This is Paranormal Portal News.
There you go. That Sheldon part at the end just kills me. Got him out doing the weather. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the rest of the show. And we got a lot more show to get to. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for a great segment. I haven't seen him tonight, Mr. Chucky Danger. I don't know if he's come in or not. I know he's been extraordinarily busy lately, a lot of things going on. So it's understandable, but I like it when Chucky's here because he puts a lot of work into these. And he did a question this week, and let me just see, where the hell is it? Okay. I've got to get my winders open. I got my winders open. And get ready for this part because that's what's coming up now. Oh, wait, let me do this first. Let me close or minimize this. There we go. Let me minimize this. There we go. Wonder why it does it that way. There we go. All right. I'm just making sure all my windows are shrunk up so I can put this over there and make it look good on the screen. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the next part of the journey. And this is, of course, this part of the journey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Discord question of the week. And this is a fun segment that I've really enjoyed where we ask you guys, our Discord community, questions in terms of what do you think about things. And I got to get to the right thing here. And I got to get to the right thing here. I should see if anybody new has come in since I last checked. That's the question of the week. Why is it not doing it? I'm in the general. I'm supposedly in the general, but it's not working. What in the hell is going on? Did Chucky ask it in the general tab? Oh, no, that was me. Sorry. I guess I didn't miss anybody new coming in. I saw this and I was like, that's what the question looks like, because Chucky does it to everybody. So I'm kind of screwing this up. So let's get to this one. And this is the question of the week. Our Discord server is open to anyone and everyone that wants to be a part of it and act respectfully and enjoy themselves having discussions and trading information about all the amazing phenomena that we're into here on the Paranormal Portal. Rachel already put the link in the chat. You may have seen it already. If not, I apologize because I was dicking around with the screens, so I might have screwed it up. But at any rate, this is our Discord server that's on the screen now. And essentially, if you'd like to become a member of the Discord, we'd love to have you over here. Just go to the URL that Rachel did post. It's just discord.gg/paranormal portal, all one word, and that'll bring you to our Discord server. Create a username and password, and Discord is free. Doesn't cost you anything to join our Discord server, and you're welcome to become part of the discussions. And every week, Chucky Danger, our wonderful friend, and who is also host of his own podcast, The Danger Zone, on Spotify, he will post a question and you can weigh in on it. You guys can answer it whatever you think. There's no wrong answers. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with any of this stuff. So whatever you think is just as valid as anyone else. So just some ideas, but we'd love to have you join and become part of the discussions over there. And by all means, there's all these other threads as well where you can join the conversations in there, look at information and links people have posted about these different topics, and post your own links. If you got some other links that people haven't seen, I'm sure we'd appreciate you sharing your knowledge and information as well. So, but this is the question of the week, and we're going to get into this now. So let's see. Yeah, this is it. The question of the week for this week. Special thanks again to Chucky Danger. Guy's just a superstar. Appreciate all his help. On a recent podcast interview, former President Barack Obama said that aliens are real. On the heels of that, President Donald Trump ordered the gathering and releasing of all files associated with UFO, UAP, and aliens and extraterrestrials. Kind of a blanket catch-all statement to leave nothing out. What do you think about this executive order? Are we finally going to get the definitive proof of extraterrestrial life and or craft from another world? What do you think about the response from the average citizen? Well, that's a great question. That's a lot to think about. So let's get to the responses. The first one weighing in was ZX81V2. No, he didn't say aliens are real. He states a statistic that given the size of the universe, thinking we are the only ones is very small-minded, thus aliens are real somewhere. He didn't say here. As for the leak told to Trump, he had not seen the Obama broadcast. He had no idea what was said. So his reaction, nothing was admitted. Okay. Well, I guess he's addressing more whether or not Barack Obama did leak that information or not. Not so much about the disclosure part. But that's okay. I don't know. I didn't see either. So I don't know. I saw clips of Obama making a statement. Then he says, yeah, aliens are real, but I haven't seen them. And that was pretty much verbatim exactly what he said. So I don't know. But I don't know the context either, so I got to be careful with that. Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit comes in next, says, well. It's nothing but a distraction from all the other stuff going on, like the late, great Robert Duvall said in one of his roles, if you want to believe in something, believe in it. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Well, yeah, but I don't think... I think they're real. I've seen UFOs, so I have no question in my mind that there is intelligences visiting us. But fair enough. Everybody can believe what they want. That's fair enough. BJ Lapierre comes in next and says, you can't come out and tell the world that aliens are real and then later come back and change your mind. And that is exactly what former President Obama did. That was a straightforward answer to the question presented him, being a former president and no longer supposed to be in the know. Did someone tell him that he had better retract what he had said, hence coming back and saying that he didn't mean it like that? His statement was misunderstood, etc. just to cover up a statement that he wasn't even supposed to talk about? We all know how the government is. They only speak in half-truths at best, and they keep things from us that we have a right to know about. If President Trump is true to his word, maybe we will finally be privy to what we have always wondered. At least we may be given a larger breadcrumb than we have been tossed in the past. Will we get definitive proof of extraterrestrial life and or the craft from another world? I doubt it. But if that breadcrumb is large enough, then maybe, just maybe, people will be open their eyes up and realize that we're not alone on this planet called Earth. Yeah, fair enough. Who knows? Again, I'm always hopeful that they'll just say, yeah, look, this stuff is real. I really think that the disclosure that we have gotten in the form of acknowledgement from the government, that the videos from the Nimitz and stuff were things they didn't understand and know about, is probably some of the best stuff we're ever going to get. But we'll see what comes of this. I don't know. Maybe I should be more optimistic. It's just, when you've seen so many of this stuff come and go through the years, and all these great moments of pushing forward and letting the people know, and then ending up with just a hot turd in your hands, it's like, yeah, thanks for that. Love the redacted mess you guys released. So there's either no information or very little information, and it's a lot of posturing usually. But I hope so. I hope someday they will just go, yeah, we're encountering this weird stuff. We don't know what it is. But it is real. Karen Elberding comes in next and says, of course aliens are real. I think we all know that at this point, even the government. They also know Sasquatch is real. They don't like to admit anything. It seems pointless to me if they were to admit it, but it would be like admitting grass is green. We already know that. Shake my head. Yeah, I'm sure that there are segments of the government that do know. I don't know that it's a blanket statement, like it's just a foregone conclusion in all aspects of government, because I think government is very compartmentalized. Like, there are, I'm sure, maybe departments in the government that know all this stuff, but I don't know that it's just a foregone conclusion. I think a lot of people drink the Kool-Aid even in the government. Like, they just drink whatever Kool-Aid they're told to drink, just like a lot of civilians do. They're, well, I was watching the news and they said this, so that's this. And cheese. Yeah, it's a bunch of cheese. That's a little talkative tonight, isn't it? Kind of like that. Got cheese tonight. It's a bunch of cheese. You're right. Good angle. All right, so yeah, I'm with that. All right, let's go to Rachel 101. I have my doubts that executive order will reveal anything other than lights in the night sky and the occasional military video. The real truth is probably being kicked down the road by each administration. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's boggles my mind that they've been able to keep it under wraps for this long, though, honestly. Just because, and maybe that's why it's so compartmentalized. Like, the people that do know are in really high places, but the average line governmental worker probably has no clue about any of this. And even military people, 99% of them probably know nothing. I think there is a 1% of people in our government or in positions that may know a lot more, but it's even I'm sure presidents probably aren't read into this stuff actively unless they push. There's a possibility that they push and make sure that they're read into it, but I just don't know, because when you're dealing with politicians, you're dealing with people that may be there for 4 years. They might be there for less if they screw up, or they might do a few terms and then they're out. And, you'd have a lot of people that would be running around with this kind of knowledge that are not maybe actively able to be controlled. And so I don't think they read everyone into it just, out of the bat. Even the president, unless they push and ask and probably leverage something to get read into it. But who knows? Let's go to Rachel. I have my doubts the executive... Oh, that was what we just read. Sorry. Let's go to Barbara Mora, who is next. Says, no, I will continue. It will continue to be a trickle of contradicting statements, as always, and I will continue to believe there are ETs because of the infinite size of the universe. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, Phil Jones just joined. Phantom Frequency, I just joined. Hi, all. Well, hello, Phil. Great to have you in here. Appreciate you just joining. That's wonderful. And I guess you would have come in over here. There you are. Let's wave and say hi to Phil. There you are. That's my waving at you. I look like I'm having a seizure. That doesn't actually look like me at all, but, it's representing me. And it looks like I'm afraid of you, Phil, but I'm not. I think you're a great guy. So, there you go. But that was the question of the week, and thank you to those of you who took the time to weigh in on it. Basically, it's the disclosure question in a new skin, and that's fair enough because it is reflecting the more recent events that happened. And do you think that moves us closer? I mean, we're all hopeful it does, but are we holding our breath? No. I think all of us have seen this stuff come and go so many times by now, and all of these posturing and politicians that once they get in office, I'm going to make sure they open up all those records. You guys will all know everything. No, never happens. It always just goes by the wayside. And there's something new and shiny they can throw in front of our face just to keep us busy. So definitely holding breath, like to be alive. Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't say I was not breathing. I just wasn't going to hold my breath because honestly, I can't hold it that long anyway. You get maybe 20 seconds and I'm sucking air. That was a sound bite for the night. So there you go. All right. Very good. There's Sheldon. He's hanging out in the Discord himself. He's saying hello to Phil as well. So very good. Welcome to the Discord, Phil. Appreciate you being over here. Hope you enjoy the conversations and jump in and provide even more fodder for the rest of us. All right. There we go. It's not going to happen just like the military operations kept in secret until you cannot. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I meant not. Brain fart. Oh, that's okay. It's okay, Maggie. I knew what you were talking about. The problem is they have to admit they've been lying for 70 plus years. No, they just kick that back to the historical administrations. They were a bunch of idiots. They didn't tell you guys anything, but here it is. You never know. I'm just saying. It's all smoke and mirrors. Most of the politicking is smoke and mirrors. So don't get all, too dependent on politicians to make your life have meaning, because you'll just be really disappointed. Really disappointed. So there it is. That's been the question of the week. Again, we'd love to have you join. Just go over here to question of the week when you do join, and look for a post like this that's on the bottom. Scroll all the way to the bottom and then scroll up until you find that. And that is the most active question of the week, although this one now is dead. So, I mean, you can answer it. We get old answers on a lot of stuff. And that's okay, but it's probably not going to be read on the air. So there it is. All right. That is the Discord question of the week. And everybody's welcome to join in this discussion. So please do. If they admitted nothing, they will never be guilty. Yeah, that's true, Susie. That's a good point. Hard to be held responsible for what you've never admitted. Yeah. And then there's the, plausible deniability. No, I didn't know anything. Nobody told me anything. And that's what a lot of what we get. It's compartmentalized for a reason. All right. So I guess we can move on to the next part of our journey. And that's going to be an article. I'm going to read you an article, whether you like it or not. It's going to be a list verse article, so let's get over.
Grouse.
What? Now it said grouse. Grouse. Grouse, like the bird. I don't know how that's relevant. Anybody make sense of that? Sometimes it says things that seem to play into the conversation, but it says grouse. Well, we're going to grouse fly over to the next part of the show. So this has been the question of the week. Oh, yeah. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Discord question of the week. All right, we got a lot more to get to, as always. And then we're going to get to, what the hell is that? And then we're going to get to the cryptid corner. Because we got more cryptids to corner, that's for sure. Is there a whiskey named Grouse? Okay. Over here, I just knew it as a bird. People go grouse hunting. It's a bird that people go out and hunt, usually in farm fields and stuff. So I don't know about the whiskey. Maybe. Are you drinking grouse, Maggie? You having a little snort of grouse? Is that what's going on? Do you have geese flying? I don't. Yay, what the hell is that? Was that time? No, it's not quite yet that time yet. I got to get to the article first. We're going to do that first, and then we'll look at the article. This one looks terrible. This one looks terrible. Okay. This is an article from Listverse. I've loved these articles because they're really pretty quick. I'm honestly, I almost wish they were much longer because they're really good. They're really well done. But this one's a bit older, but I like it, and I'm going to be happy to read it to you. Let me just look at this. Okay. All right. Just maybe. All right. Here we go. We're going to read this one tonight. Whoops. This one. There it is. And I got it all queued up, ready to go. And what I'm talking about is right here. Not that. Damn it. Forgot to turn that off. Rookie move. Damn it. All right. Grouse. It's used informally to mean complain or grumble about something. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that kind of fits. We have no idea how old this spirit is that's talking. Maybe it's saying I'm being a grouse. Do I sound like I'm complaining? I might be. When I'm complaining about politics, yeah, that makes sense. I don't really like politics. I don't like what it's doing to the people of this country, and I don't like how things are getting spun and people are getting twisted into angry messes. It's absolutely horrifying. We can do better than this. But anyway, I won't jump on my soapbox. But here we go. This is the article from Listverse, 10 paranormal events linked to mass tragedies. I don't know about you, but I got a hankering for this kind of article. Sounds really dark, doesn't it? Let's see what it says. All right. I think I got to frame this a little bit over. There we go. So you guys can read along with me. We can have a group reading exercise. All right. Number 10, the ghost passengers of Japan. I think everybody's heard of it, and it's not specific to Japan. It's really not. This phenomena happens all over the world. There certainly happens in Japan. It's been actually recorded on dash cameras inside the cabs and stuff that people see doors open and stuff. Is it legitimate videos? Looks okay. I don't know. I mean, could it be all hoaxed? Sure. But it looks like it might be a real phenomenon that people are experiencing. At least there's plenty of people claiming that it's happened to them. So I can't think they're all liars. Let's check it out. In the years since the 2011 Tohoku tsunami that cost over 16,000 lives, taxi drivers in some of the worst hit towns, such as Ishinomaki, are reporting that they are picking up ghost passengers. Yuka Kudo, a student in sociology at the Tohoku Gakuin University, has interviewed more than 100 drivers as part of the research for her graduation thesis. All of the drivers interviewed believe they were picking up a real person. They started their meters, and then some noted their experience in logbooks. One of the men interviewed claimed that a few months after the disaster, he picked up a young woman who asked to be taken to the Mihama district. Sorry, I'm just brutalizing all that. He explained to her that there was nothing left there. The taxi driver went on to recount that the passenger then asked, "Have I died?" And that when he turned to look at her, she was gone. Oh, wow. That is really, man, that might be an end of the shift kind of story. That's like, okay, I'm just going home. That's crazy. Another driver described how he'd driven a young man in his 20s to a part of the city requested, but that when he arrived, he found himself suddenly alone. Interestingly, all of the ghostly passengers were described as young, and Miss Kudo believes that young people feel strongly chagrined at their deaths when they cannot meet the people they love, and as they want to convey their bitterness, may have chosen taxis as a medium to do so. None of the drivers reported feeling dread at those encounters. Yuka Kudo herself stated through the interviews, "I learned that the death of each victim carries importance, and I want to convey that." Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, my God, could you imagine? And maybe this is part of it. If the entirety of your existence was summarized like this, that you were part of an event that cost 16,000 lives, like that's the entirety of your experience in this world, other than to the people that loved you. And maybe it would become more like, but I'm more than this, just part of this number. And maybe that's why they show up, that they want some kind of recognition that they were here. You know, I don't know, but because that looks kind of crappy. Like, hey, you're just part of a tragedy that cost over 16,000 lives. What an empty and horrible statement that is when you think about it, that you're just part of this pile of people. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe they want to be acknowledged, you know. That's just occurs to me. And of Thailand. Let's see what's going on here. This must be more tsunami stuff. Ghost passengers are not just confined to Japan. After the tsunami caused by the Indian Ocean earthquake on Boxing Day 2004, the residents along the Andaman coast, Thailand, started to report being haunted by some of the 230,000 victims who were swept to their deaths. Again, another blanket of bodies. Nearly 2 weeks after the tragedy, Lek, a tuk-tuk minivan driver, described several foreign tourists who climbed into his van and asked to be taken to Kata Beach for 200 baht. But after driving a while, Lek said he felt his body become numb and looking around found himself alone in the vehicle. But unlike the Japanese taxi drivers who felt no fear with these apparitions, Lek states, "I can't get over this. I'm going to have to get another job. I have a daughter to support, but I'm too scared to go out driving at night." Other locals were similarly frightened by apparitions wandering around their community. A security guard who worked at a hotel that was the scene of many casualties left his post shortly after the disaster, claiming to hear the screams of a woman believed to be a guest who was killed. And in Khao Lak, a family said that their phone constantly rang, but when the receiver was lifted, all they could hear were the cries of their relatives begging to be rescued from the crematorium flames. Oh, wow, that's pretty dark, isn't it? Yikes. That's not good. Well, let's get to the next one, the Titanic premonition. There have been many articles pointing out the seemingly eerie prediction of the fate of the Titanic in the form of novels which mirror many details of the ship and its journey. But perhaps not many people realize that the captain of the liner, Edward J. Smith himself, also seemed to have a premonition that all would not go well on the maiden voyage across the Atlantic. In a collection of his letters, which were sold in 2016, he laments the fact that he was no longer taking command of the Cymric, another ship, and instead placed as captain of the Titanic. More ominous is a letter to his sister written just 2 days before the liner hit the iceberg, in which he writes, "I still don't like this ship. I have a queer feeling about it." Captain Smith was highly experienced seaman who had recently been on the Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, when she was involved in a collision, yet he had nothing but fond feelings for that particular vessel. Why, then, did he feel so uneasy about a ship he had only just set foot on? Whatever the reason, fascination has continued to surround the doomed captain ever since. Many tales have sprung up around him, including the story of a second officer, Leonard Bishop, of the SS Winterhaven, who in 1977 was conducting a tour of his ship to one of his passengers. This passenger was a quiet, attentive man with a British accent. Well, at the time, Bishop felt there was something strange about the man, but could not say exactly what it was. A few years later, he came across a picture of a captain of a ship and exclaimed, "I know that man. I gave him a tour of my ship." The man in the photograph was Captain Edward J. Smith. Ooh. Oh. That's a little spooky. That's a little spooky. Look at that guy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that mustache. Oh my God. He almost looks like one of those puppets that you put your hand in and only the lower jaw moves, you know. It's like, wow, that's a lot of mustache. Holy God. Let's see what this one is Spirit of the Somme. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Let's see what it is. By the end of the Battle of the Somme, which lasted 4.5 months, over 1 million men had been killed or wounded. Oh my God. Although you might expect this item to contain haunting by one of these fallen, interestingly, it was someone who never set foot on the battleground who made a ghostly appearance. Oh. On the morning of November 5th, 1915, 13 days before the second most fatal battle in history was over, the soldiers of the British 2nd Battalion of the Suffolk Regiment witnessed something inexplicable. Already the German forces had begun fire rounds into their trenches, but this was not the remarkable thing that Captain W.E. Newcomb wrote about in the August 1919 edition of Pearson's magazine. He described how he personally witnessed a brilliant white light seeming to rise from the muddy strip between the two trenches known as No Man's Land. He went on to describe how this light transformed into the figure of a man wearing a slightly outdated military uniform. The man was quickly recognized as being Lord Kitchener, whose face had been made famous by the thousands of British recruitment posters in which he looked and pointed directly at the viewer, stated, "Your country needs you." Well, there you go. Except that Lord Kitchener had died in June of that year, a month before the Battle of the Somme commenced. British flares were let off, but they did not dispel the figure that proceeded to walk parallel to the trenches in a manner that suggested he was inspecting his troops. He then turned his face to the German side that had also seen the specter, and they ceased their fire in an attempt to make sense of what they were witnessing. However, seeing the flares, the British artillery units some distance off understood their assistance was needed and began to fire shells on the German troops, who once more began their barrage in defense. In the chaos, the figure returned to wherever it had come from. Wow. Do you think maybe he carried a great guilt about that, you know? Like it was his face and his visage that might have helped to prompt people to sign up for a war that was bloody and brutal and horrific, and maybe that was a heavy weight on his soul, and that was why he showed up in those situation or that situation or other situations. I don't know. Pretty crazy. I'm just trying to make sense of it. Like, what would link him to that moment? And maybe it was just some grand guilt that he felt like he had helped to convince people to go to their deaths. I don't know. Here's number 6, Missed Connections. Let's check out this one. The residents living near O'Hare International Airport, Chicago, have often reported strange visitors at their houses. On hearing knocking on their doors, they have answered them to find someone standing there on the doorstep explaining that they have to make a connection or find their luggage. Before the homeowners can inquire further, the person vanishes. Oh, I've never heard of this. Any of you guys hear about this? Is it just me? I've not heard of this before. On the highway nearby, strange lights have been witnessed by motorists, along with unexplained figures wandering along the roadside. If you were to spend some time at the airport itself, you might feel a sudden drop in temperature accompanied by screams coming from an adjacent field. Well, these phenomena have been attributed to the devastating crash that took place in May in 1979 when an American Airlines McDonnell Douglas DC-10 Flight 191 crashed shortly after takeoff due to one of its engines falling off. Oh my God. With the fuel tanks full, the plane was consumed in a fireball. All 271 people on board and 2 people on the ground were also unalived. The paranormal activity continues to this day, and if you are brave enough to seek firsthand experience of it, then a local company offers ghost tours where you can camp out next to the airport for a night. I'll bet it's still a loud, busy place, so I don't know that you'd probably expect to experience too much with all that noise and activity. All right, number 5, the butterfly people of Joplin. Now, let me just tell you, I know a little bit about this story. It is, I don't know, nothing short of amazing to me. This is really an incredible story. If it is indeed the same story that I think it is, but this is one of those moments of, I don't know if it's divine intervention or what you want to call it, but pretty amazing story. So buckle up for this one, folks. If you're not familiar with the butterfly people of Joplin, it's talking about Joplin, Missouri, and it's an incredible tale. So here we go. Let's read it. The many stories of the butterfly people of Joplin are quite similar. A parent or grandparent and child are caught out in the open when the EF5 tornado hits on May 22nd, 2011. They have no place to find a shelter. As the tornado bears down on them, lifting up cars and buildings and hurling these objects all around them, the adults believe that there's no way they're going to survive. They are going to die. Except then, miraculously, the storm passes and they are left unscathed. The child then looks up at the adult and asks, "Weren't they pretty?" "Weren't what pretty?" the adult asks. "Didn't you see the butterfly people?" Soon the story of these butterfly people protecting residents from the tornado spread about the town. They were shared in the street, in church sermons, and children receiving counseling for the trauma they suffered began claiming that they too had seen these angelic beings that kept them safe and comforted them during the disaster. When a mural was unveiled in the downtown Joplin to honor the town and what it had experienced, the artwork depicted large, colorful butterflies. Although the artistic director of the mural project, Dave Lowenstein, was keen to stress that butterflies have many symbolic meanings, others in the town felt strongly that there was a connection between the images and the supernatural experiences of the townfolk. Even on the mural, said one resident, there's butterflies because they've heard of the butterfly people. Yeah, there's several stories of this, and if you ever get a chance, look into it, because it's just that. It's like these people that were, in horrible situations were, with small children, were just like, we're going to die. There's nothing we can do. And these butterfly people appeared and seemingly stood between them and these tornado winds that were sucking and destroying everything around them. And these people were unharmed. I think it's just a beautiful case of divine intervention. So if you haven't heard about the butterfly people, you should definitely research more about it. It's an incredible, incredible situation. Number 4, haunted from below. Oh. When the London Underground was first proposed in the mid-19th century, there were very real fears among some people that cutting tunnels deep into the earth would disturb and anger the devil. Additionally, many lines and stations were built through ancient burial grounds, such as Aldgate Station, where it is estimated 4,000 people lost their lives to the Black Death. Man, would you like to have been on that drilling crew? No. In 2005, archaeological digs uncovered 238 burials around Aldgate Station believed to be due to the plague. Many of the bodies had been sliced through due to construction of the underground. Desecration of the graves. Oh no. Unexplained phenomena are so common at the Aldgate Underground Station that many incidents have been recorded in workers' logbooks. The most famous story involves a station worker who slipped and fell onto the electrified tracks, causing 20,000 volts to pass through his body. Well, he somehow survived, but his colleagues report seeing a ghostly old woman kneel beside him and stroke his hair moments before he struck the live rail. However, some purported tube station hauntings are related to more recent tragedies. In 1943, the residents of the Bethnal Green in East London heard air raid sirens. In the ensuing panic to take cover in the underground station, 173 people, mostly women and children, were crushed to death. Oh, God. Worse still, the alarm turned out to be a test. Since that time, workers left alone at the night have reported hearing the cries of women and children. One worker was so alarmed that he fled the station in an attempt to flee the ghostly sounds. More recent still was the fire at King's Cross Station in November 18th of 1987. The fire was started by a passenger who, after lighting his cigarette, discarded his lit match as he traveled up the escalator. The fire was then fueled by the grease and wooden treads of the moving stairway, and within 15 minutes the flame reached the ticket hall and exploded in a fireball. 31 people were killed, and since that time, many passengers have reported seeing a modern and smartly dressed young woman with brown hair who raises her arms and cries out when she's approached, and attempts are made to help her, and she vanishes. Many have hypothesized that she's one of the victims of the King's Cross fire. Yeah, it looks like it. The nurse of 9/11. Understandably, this is number 3, of course. Understandably, the scale of atrocities carried out on 9/11 has resulted in many people coming forward claiming they experienced ghostly apparitions during and after the attack. Many survivors claim that they were led to safety by an invisible presences. One such witness stated that, on coming to a wall of fire, they were prodded through and subsequently guided down the stairs of the North Tower. Another survivor, having been trapped beneath the concrete, describes being visited by a comforting apparition dressed as a monk. Stranger still are the phenomena that are observed by more than one person. One such sighting was witnessed by a New York PD police officer, Sergeant Frank Mara, who helped sift through the debris in the days after the attack. He reports seeing a woman dressed in a World War II Red Cross uniform carrying a tray of sandwiches, and he claims he believed her to be a first responder and didn't see her just once. He saw her a few times where she stood about 50 yards away. But there was no doubt in his mind that she appeared to be a real person. This is creepy enough if it wasn't for the encounter Sergeant Mara had a year later with a retired crime scene detective. By this time, Mara had put the experience of the strange woman to the back of his mind until the detective happened to ask him whether he had heard stories of the old Red Cross worker trying to serve sandwiches and coffee out by the sisters. It was then that Mara realized he hadn't been the only one to spot this mysterious figure. And since no one else has come forward to claiming to be her or to know her, she remains a mystery. Number 2, Loft and Repo. At approximately 11:42 on December 29th, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed into the Florida Everglades. It seemed that shortly before the crash, the flight crew noticed that a landing gear indicator light had ceased to work. And while they were concerned with this, failed to notice that the autopilot had switched modes. Without being aware until it was too late, the aircraft began to slowly lose altitude until it crashed. 75 people survived, wow, while 101 died. Oh, well, that's at least that many survived. That's amazing. Including among the dead were Captain Bob Loft and flight engineer Don Repo. It was these two men who soon began making appearances on other Eastern TriStars, in particular those fitted with parts salvaged from the wreckage of their crashed plane. Oh man, so they cannibalized a wrecked plane for parts? Oh no. Many of the sightings were made by more than one witness and at once, including the time when the flight captain and 2 flight attendants saw and spoke to the late Captain Loft before witnessing him vanish. They were so shaken that they canceled the flight. Even the vice president of Eastern Airlines reported having a conversation with a man he assumed was the captain of the flight before realizing it was the recently deceased Loft. As for flight engineer Repo, it seems his apparition took considerable care after his death in making sure planes were adequately maintained. One flight engineer halfway through pre-flight checks claims Repo appeared and said, "You don't need to worry about the pre-flight, I've already done it." A flight attendant described seeing Repo fixing a galley oven, while a separate flight attendant saw Repo's face appear in the oven of TriStar 318. When she fetched 2 colleagues, all 3 heard Repo say, "Watch out for fire on this plane." Intriguingly, the plane later on went on to experience engine problems and the last leg of its journey was canceled. Repo also appeared to a captain on another flight and told him, "There will never be another crash. We will not let it happen," leading some to question whether it was guilt at their deadly error that led to their repeated manifestations. Wow. I mean, at least they're making it right, I guess, right? That's crazy. All right, number 1, Living Dead. Jeez. Zombies? What are we talking about here? Let's see. When Sorpong Pyo was 17, he witnessed his father Nam, a government official, being forced into a blue truck and taken away to his native Cambodia. This occurred in the dark years between 1975 and 79, during which it is estimated that 1.7 million people were unalived by the Khmer Rouge led by Pol Pot. Since that time, 309 mass grave sites with an estimated 19,000 grave pits have been unearthed. So it's understandable that when Nam did not return, Sorpong could only assume his father was one of the victims. Sorpong and his family were some of the lucky ones after making it to a refugee camp in Thailand. Sorpong, his mother, and 6 siblings all relocated to Canada in 1982, where Sorpong would go on to have a distinguished academic career. Well, fast forward to January 2010, and Sorpong is in Tokyo, where he has a vivid dream in which he walks and chats with his father. Although moved by the dream, he thought it no more as a sign of how much he misses his father. He was unaware that one of his brothers was planning to visit a psychic in Ottawa wishing for advice regarding his business. During the reading, the psychic inquired where his father was, asking, "Do you see him?" The brother explained that he had seen his father taken away when he was 5 and that he had been murdered. But the psychic informed him that this was not the case. Nam was still alive. Doubting the psychic's information, but intrigued, Sorpong's brother informed the rest of the family, and this led to their sister, who was skeptical, deciding to consult the psychic without revealing who she was. The psychic also informed her that her father was alive. When the siblings' mother met with her, the psychic disclosed the same information. So there followed 2 trips, one by Sorpong's brother to Cambodia to see if he could track down the man they believed had been massacred almost 30 years before. He distributed hundreds of posters of Nam as he had looked for decades earlier, and he scoured Thai border towns and the sites of former refugee camps until he was finally directed to a man who said that he looked like the photograph on the flyers when he was younger. But all the same, he refused to believe that the Cambodian could be one of his sons. There's no doubt on his son's side too, but there was doubt on the son's side too, But slowly, as Nam Pao began to recount stories and relay information about the family that only he could have known, it seemed father and son had been reunited. But how had Nam escaped? He had indeed been taken away in the truck and was thrown into a ditch, and bodies were piled on top of him, and somehow he survived only to be recaptured and tortured before escaping into the jungle and into the Thai-Cambodia border, where he assumed his family had not been as fortunate as he and had been massacred. Since that time, he had remarried and had 6 more children, but on hearing that her now 85-year-old husband was alive, his first wife, Sorpong's mother, moved back to Cambodia to be with him and his new family. She was followed shortly by one of their sons who opened a seafood restaurant and now cares for them all. Finally, Sorpong himself returned to the country and was reunited with the father they had last seen 36 years before. And this is written by Chloe Findlater. This is from England. So, very cool stories. Wow. I don't know. I think the butterfly people was my favorite one, though. Still is. That's just one of those stories that it's just amazing. Oh, man, I got something in my eye. Something's in my eye. It's time for the burning eyeball portion of the show. They're bound to happen. Dang it. Hey. I get it? Gotta squeegee my eyeball a little bit. There we go. I think that's good. Do you guys like those stories? Do you like these articles when I read them? Let me know, because, if it's more of a brick, or you guys are like, when's he going to finish this? Let me know. I don't know. I like them, though. I enjoy them. All right. It's about that time for the next segment of the show, if I can see. There we go. I have to get some wet wipes in here or something. Jesus. My oily skin. It gets in my eyeballs and it just burns. Ugh. It just sucks. There we go. I think I'm better. I think I'm about better now. Okay, so we're going to get to the next part of the show, which is, of course, one that I think you all like. Yes, Brent, your knuckle is... My knuckle's in my eye. Is that what was doing it? Dang. That's funny. You know me, I can skip the articles to the cryptids. I know, Grandizer. Yes, they are awesome, Eric says. Okay, all right. Well, good. I appreciate that. I like these articles because they give us a great cross-section of a lot of different stories. And I like to cover a lot of different information. They're not very comprehensive. We all have a lot of questions and things we'd like to know about each of them. But I just think in terms of covering a lot of ground, they're great. And they really introduce a lot of cool ideas and things to discuss. So I like covering the articles, but if you guys don't like them, I mean, I don't have to. Love the stories, even if I'm not or Phil is not mentioned. Yeah, well, there's that. I love What the Hell Is That the best, but it's all valuable content. Well, funny you should say that, because it's time for...
What the hell is that?
That's what we're wondering, and it's time to find out. All right, I got a few of them for you guys tonight. And by the way, BJ Lapierre had sent me some really cool UFO pictures, and I think we'll try to go over those on Wednesday if that works out, on Wednesday's show. And we'll look at those and let you guys see what she's captured. She's got some pretty great ones. I think there's some really interesting things she's managed to capture, and we'll get into those probably on Wednesday if BJ is still here. Are you still here, BJ? Oh, look at that. Phil Funk. Rocking it. Thank you, Phil. 14 months. The man has been supporting the show. So God bless you, sir. Appreciate it. I didn't miss anything else today. I don't think I did. I didn't see that big, colorful band come by. And that's okay. I mean, it's not like we are just trolling for donations here. But when they happen, it's really cool. Hi, Jackie Hall. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. All right, let's get to What the Hell Is That? This is the segment of the show where we showcase some interesting paranormal evidence, possibly evidence, potentially evidence. And you guys get to be the judge, you know. Do you think it's real, or do you think it's just a bunch of bunk? Now, if you're not familiar with this segment, oh, Grandizer, you're a channel member for a day? Did you join? If you joined, you get the hand for sure. God bless you. Appreciate it. I appreciate every member that we have, and everybody that donates is just extra special. You all are amazing to me, though, so it's not a popularity contest. I just love you all. All right, so here it is. The way that you let me know what you guys think is you vote. And we vote in the chat with ones or zeros. One, what you looked at you think could be valid paranormal evidence. Could be a valid paranormal event that was captured. Or zero, you think that it's a bunch of crap and there's either scammy, hoaxy, or just really misunderstood and misrepresented. Or you can use decimals, like you're kind of In the middle, 0.5. You know, a lot of people have done that. Or if you're more believing but not quite convinced, 0.75. And then vice versa for lower numbers for less convinced. But at any rate, you can't vote yet, Phil. I haven't showed you anything. You don't have to believe in me, but you're voting one. Fair enough. We'll bank that one, Phil, because I got some things to show you guys, and you can let me know what you think. So here we go. This is the first one. This is Pesadillas y Misterio. I don't know what Pesadillas is. Obviously, mysteries. Is it fear and mysteries? Is Pesadillas fear, Jose? Is that right? Let me know, Jose. I'm looking for the Spanish definitions here. I'm going to put it in here. Is that equal fear, that word I just put in there? Pesadillas? Pesadillas. I think it's fear. Fear and Mysteries, I think, is the name of the channel. It's Pesadillas y Misterios. I saw some amazing UFO video recently released and analyzed on Secure Team 10 and no word after anywhere. Well, send me links, Justin. That'd be cool to check out. Nightmares. Pesadillas is nightmares. Okay. Gotcha. So it's nightmares and mysteries. Pesadillas y Misterios. Gracias, amigo. All right. That's the channel it came from, Pesadillas y Misterios on Facebook. Let me close the chats that managed to accumulate. And I don't know what we're looking at here. I don't remember. It looks like, there's a red circle showing some kind of muddy apparition kind of thing, but there it is. Pesadillas y Misterios brings us this clip. It does appear to be a video, but let's check it out. I'm going to turn on the volume first. If it's music, I'm going to have to mute it again, obviously, but let's check it out.
Los vigilantes que captaron lo que estás viendo en tu pantalla comentan que las alarmas de la zona...
I don't speak Spanish. I know you do, Jose, but I'd rather just talk. Is that an apparition moving? It does look pretty convincing. And obviously, the camera itself isn't panning, but they're actually, I guess, cropping it to show this apparition gliding across the screen. I think this might be a pretty good capture, actually. Looks like it might be. I can't really make out, what is it? It says a spectral entity triggered the alarms is what we have to work with here. So question is, what are we looking at, folks? It's time to vote. Are we looking at what could be some excellent representation of ghostly apparition walking across a screen? So Mel WD40 is giving it a 1. Paranormal Portal, oh yes. Speak a Spanish. Espanol, Grandizer. Yep. So it's time to vote. Let's see what you guys think. 1 or 0. What are we looking at? Real evidence? 1. Nah, it's fake. This is nothing to see here. 0 or whatever's in between. Yeah, it does. It does seem to have a stride. You're right, Joanne. Karen Alberting's giving it a halfway. We got Joanne giving it all in. 0.5 for Maggie. Blue Cruise, Wizard, both 1. John Temperin, half. Phil Jones, all in. 0.75 from Beth. 0.5 from Phil Funk. Jackie's giving it a 1. Rachel Wright gets it right. Says 1, so do I. Okay, so both 1s from you guys. Okay, fair enough. 0.5 shadow person apparition. Yeah, maybe. It's not really shadowy, though. It doesn't necessarily look as shadowy. It just looks kind of wispy, you know. Hello to you, David Barnes. Good to see you, brother. What do we got? 0.5 from Dog Digger. Justin Goodhurst giving it a 1. Pretty strange. Barbara Mora is giving it a 0.5, as is Car Juice. Don't see anything from Big D over there, but that's okay. What do we got? Kel's giving it 0.5, and Elaine's giving it a 1. No zeros. Wow. Yeah, everybody's kind of got a little bit idea this is something. And that's cool. Is there enough to really make a true judgment call? No, but all we can do is just look at these little glimpses and just try to decide, could this be actual evidence? Now, it could be a lot of things. Could be fake, could be a really trashy camera that doesn't have a good refresh rate, and so it doesn't refresh the frames very rapidly, and you end up with wispy, ghostly things. That's possible, but I think there is a transparency to the legs, which is kind of wild. But that's what we got to work with. So everybody's voted. I think it's something. I think it could be legitimate, but again, there's no way to know for sure. All we're doing is just gut checking. Does it look like it might be real? Yeah, it looks like it might be real. Is it real? Hell, I don't know. None of us know. But only the people that were there and happened to capture this are the ones that know. So let's get to the next one. Whoops.
What the hell is that?
There's actually more to this segment than that. I just forgot to turn off that transition stinger. That's my fault. That's the first one. We got more, though. This one's kind of cool. This is another video. I don't know. Is it possibly real? Yeah. Is it possibly AI? Maybe. Is it possibly just staged, hoaxed? Could be. But this one's going to be a individual gut check. I can't shoot it down based on anything I'm seeing, but I also can't tell you that what you're looking at is real. This is, honestly, I have no way to know either way on this one. But I will tell you that it's a pretty good fake if it's fake. But here it is. Take a look, and you guys can tell me what you think. It looks like a little person, and I'm thinking maybe this is what Pukwudgies look like, because it is a hairy little thing, but it definitely has a face. What is it? Well, you be the judge. It's from My Risk Team on Facebook. This is what they captured. What do you guys think? Look at that little beard. Looks like a crabby ass Santa, doesn't it? Huh. So we got somebody panting. Like he just got done running. Or he's panicked. I don't know, but then it just kind of zooms into this furry guy who's not really, maybe not dialed into wherever the sound is coming from, but he seems to know that somebody's looking. So what do you think? What are we looking at here? What do you guys think? Time to vote. Okay, Justin Gooder's like pretty cute AI 0. Gotcha. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it sure could be. Sure could be. I don't know. You know, we hear about Pukwudgies that they're humanoid, but they're covered in hair. And then to see something like this is like, well, is that what they might look like? Hell, I don't know. Maybe. I always thought they maybe looked more troll-like, but I don't know. Got a lot of zeros on this one. What is this saying? I got to get my mouse over here. One thought at first it was a mini Wookiee. Yeah. So are these all for this? Maggie's not a Pukwudgie, but it's something. LOL. Yeah, it's something. Beth, yeah, that's for sure. Maggie's giving it a 0. It's really hairy dude or AI, unfortunately. Yeah. 0 from Maggie, 0.5 from Mel. Joanne's giving it a 1. Karen Elberding, 0. Owl, 0. 0 from Pixie. And I read yours. I'm going to say AI as the video does not show the creature moving away. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. It doesn't look bad though, honestly. I think it's interesting. I will tell you one thing I think is interesting right away is that the grass down here is moving like there's a wind right now. It doesn't move at first when it's first zooming in, but now it's moving. And this leaf up here is moving, but none of this grass over here is moving. So it's a very localized breeze, or what the hell's going on here? Even this grass right by it is moving, but there's no leaf motion on any of these taller weeds. And maybe they're just thicker and more robust, but maybe that's a tell that it's AI. So Wizard Moon, nope. Beth, giving it a 0.5. Rachel, nope. Elaine, halfway there. Nah, 0, said John Temperin. 0.4375 from Josh. Kel's giving it a 0. Blue Cruise is all in on this one. 0 from Susie Wright. Jackie Hall is giving it a 0. 0 could just be a guy. Could be Phil. 0.5 from Eric Fry. Pukwudgie still have stiff hairs, much like a rooster. Yeah, that's on their back they do. I just don't really see the back on this. But they're supposed to have almost like porcupine-like quills on their back. Looks like my ex-husband a little from the shoulders up, Joanne says. Oh, he's quite a looker then, isn't he? What do we got? I reckon some do look like this, to be honest, Maggie says. Yeah, I don't know. Problem is Grok can recreate this video in seconds. Sure. I mean, all of what we're looking at could be AI, and there's no way to know. This isn't a reality check. It's just a gut check. Papa Smurf looking for his hat, 0.5, says AJ Heffel. Papa Smurf. Cro-Magnon Man, Blue Cruise says, yeah, I don't know. Might just be Phil Funk taking his morning bath in the creek, says Eric. Ooh, hitting low, Eric, hitting low. Like porcupines. Yeah. On the back. 0 from BJ Lapeer. So what do we got over on Rumble? Justin Girth was the first one to vote with a 0. Barbara Moore has given it a 1. Dog Digger says a 0.25 looks like a person. Not sure on size, 0.25. Car Juice is given a 0. I think a Puckwudgie would come after the panting man. Yeah, they don't seem to like people at all. So generally act pretty aggressively towards people by the reports I've heard. Looks like a cornfield size comparison. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's just more like reeds. Some kind of reeds or something, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, it's the turn is very mechanical, Car Juice says. Kind of is, yeah. I mean, it's just a rotation of the head, a little bit on the shoulders, but not much. But if he's hunting, he doesn't want to make drastic movements. I don't know. It's very interesting, whatever it is. I don't know, but could be Dave Scott, Mel says. Could be Betty White. Oh, no. Could be. He's a little far away from his spaced out radio desk. I'm just saying. Time to get busy, Mr. Scott. Just saying. All right, so there you go. I think we've all voted. It's an interesting one all the same. I don't pretend to know. Again, AI is certainly a possibility with all of these. None of these that I can show you, I can absolutely rule out AI. But, yeah, there's some anomalies. I just wish the grass back here was moving somehow. Then I would be more convinced, but the fact that it's moving so much, even up to the little guy, but not this grass at all. Even the top parts, which should be more supple and flexible, are not moving that I can see. Yeah, they're almost absolutely static. Maybe a little bit of motion here and there, but seems a little more suspect, but I could be wrong. This could be a legitimate video. This is the problem nowadays. It's hard to tell, if not impossible. So, yeah, he is scanning for something. That's what I was thinking. Like maybe he's hunting. Maybe he's looking for rabbit or small game, and he hears this other noise, but he's not really dialed in on where it is. He's just doing a slow pan, like where is that coming from? But doesn't want to make sudden moves because he'll scare everything away. Kind of like a hunter, if you will, right? But there it is. That was that one. I thought it was interesting. I don't know what we're looking at, but it's compelling. Is it real? Well, maybe not. So this one is coming from Jim Kern on Facebook as well. All of them tonight are on Facebook. So definitely check out these channels, guys, that I'm telling you about, these Facebook pages, because there might be a hell of a lot more stuff down there too. I can't check them all out because I get dozens of these all the time now in my feeds. So I have no shortage of material, but if you find a good one and you think this might be real, send it in to me. ParanormalPortalRadio@gmail.com. All right, let's check out this one from Jim Kern, Kern on Facebook. It looks like it's his video. It's he's got the original audio attribution on the bottom. Following a triangular formation of objects at night with my full spectrum Sony A7 SII camera. I don't know if that's SII or S2 camera. And he's at the focal length of 0.95. Low light lens. The focal length of 0.95 is very, that's how wide the opening is to the sensor. An F number. The bigger the number, like F11, F15, it means it's a small opening to keep out a lot of light, daylight shooting with infinite focal lengths. But F095 is like really open. F1 is really open. So let's check this out. See what you guys think. Some kind of light formation he's tracking here. Let's take a look. Ready? Want to see it? Here it go. Oh yeah, look at 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. See, I have no trouble believing in this. I have no trouble believing that could be absolutely legit. I've seen a lot of things up in the night sky myself with my night vision binoculars. And while I've caught like side-by-side ones, I don't think I've ever seen a triangle, but I've seen them intersect each other before many times. There's a lot of things going on in our atmosphere that we just don't see. Now you don't see, it's hard to know how high up this is, but it looks like maybe upper atmosphere. But it's anybody's guess, because these things could be the size of beach balls, or they could be the size of a large vehicle. We just don't know how high up it is. But I don't see any navigational lights blinking, so it doesn't look like it's flying in formation with navigating lights on. I do have to tell you a new one that I saw just the other night. So what do you guys think? Time to vote. A lot of ones. Yep. Okay. No, it's not. I've seen the Starlink clusters move, and it looks like a train of lights, like almost in a straight line. I've seen them here going across the sky, and they really do move in groups, and it's really spectacular. But yeah, Starlink is not usually just 3. It's usually like dozens moving in a group to cover a special area. They don't usually move them 1, 2, or 3 satellites at a time. They move them in clusters. So that's my experience anyway. I could be wrong. But everybody's saying 1. I'm only going to call out the 0.75 from Mel, WD-40. Anything less than 1. Fireflies, John? You don't usually see those in clusters either. And certainly not high altitude. They don't go high altitude. Most bugs don't. 0.5, they're going straight, no turns or anything from Karen Alberting, which would mean they could be almost on orbit, or moving together in a group. The only that would sell it actually if it turned or took off. Well, no, I mean I've witnessed this myself. Just for clarification again, I've seen this kind of thing myself many times. I don't know what they are. I can't say they're extraterrestrial, but they're very weird. I don't see anything, but I'll follow the crowd, Beth says. Yeah, if you're looking on a phone, this one's going to be tough, but just come back to it and check it out when you're by a bigger screen. Same distance apart. Yeah, they are equidistant. That's true. Look like it's a perfect triangle in formation. Let's see. Anything else? Big fat geese are actually ovnis. I don't know what ovnis are, Jose. Is that a word for UFOs or orbs? Yeah. Carol says it's a UFO. Yeah. I think most of us are in agreement that this is something. Agreed, Brent. I think 1 anyway. 0.5 could be military. Yeah. I mean, is it impossible? No, it's not. Could it be military? It could be. The weird part if it's military is why is it so visible? I mean, you could certainly make an argument that you could see that if they're military and running without navigation lights, they would be running dark. You wouldn't probably see anything, but it looks like these are, maybe they're reflecting light from a sunset that's long past, but they're so high up they're still catching some of that sunlight. But it could be that. But they're very uniformly lit. It doesn't like, that light level doesn't seem to change even though they're moving across the sky. Too fast for planes? I would think so as well. But again, it's hard to get a gauge of how far up this is. We just can't really tell. Let's see what they say over on Rumble. Let's see. Justin Gooder's giving this a 1. Dog Digger's giving it a 1. Cargius 1. Barbara Moore a 1. Not Space Junk from Dog Digger. Yeah. Big D's coming in with a 1 on this one. Yep. Fly formation. Flies in formation. Still 1. Yeah. Curious that I see patterns in the stars. Yeah, if you look at the stars with night vision, you're going to see crazy stuff. And this is probably recorded in infrared, just judging by how many stars there are visible. Like when you look up with your naked eye, you wouldn't see any of these dimmer ones at all. So I suspect this was recorded in night vision, much like I saw mine. Mine is generation 1 night vision, so everything's in a green hue, but the newer generations of night vision are not all green. So this could be a more advanced night vision than what I have. So, yeah, very crazy. I think this is the real deal. I think it's an anomalous formation flying through the sky. Does that mean it's aliens? No, but it means it's unidentified. That's for sure what it means. So that's our take on it. I think we all agree. I will tell you guys this. The other night I actually saw another one. Wasn't as spectacular as the saucer that I've explained to you before. Before. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my mouth tonight, but before. But what I did see, I didn't see at first. The minion and I were out back letting the dog out. And we were standing there on the back patio. And it was dark. We didn't even have the outside lights on. It was a nice warm night and the stars were out. We were just kind of marveling at the warmth in the night sky. And I'm just standing there talking to the minion, facing him, and he's looking kind of past me and over my right shoulder a little bit. And he's like, "Dad, what's that?" I'm like, "What?" I turn. He said that orange thing. And I'm like, "What?" And I turn and look, and there it is. It's a ball of orange light, like a little ball of orange light came right over us. And it was maybe about 1,000 feet up. Absolutely dead silent, not a sound, no navigational lights blinking, nothing. It was just a ball of orange light went right over. And I'm like, "I don't know what that is." But I said, "I think you might have just seen your first UFO." He's like, "Oh, really?" He was all excited, but it was a ball and it just cruised over us. You know, it was like faster than any plane. We have a small airport near here, but if it's a plane, you're going to hear it. They're very loud. And you'll always hear them up to like 10,000 feet. They're just, you can't mistake a plane. There's jets and stuff too, which are loud, smaller jets, but this was just silent. There was only the night air. And this orange ball came right over and just cruised over us. So that was really cool. We just saw that the other night. There's a lot of things up here. I don't know what's going on with this area up here, but I don't think it's just this area anymore. I think these things are everywhere. So that was our latest sighting. All right. Unfortunately, we're just about out of time. We're about out of time. I'm sorry, but it looks like we've run out of night. But this has been...
What the hell is that?
Oh, interesting. Jose said, "Brent, I saw one too, but mine was eye-shaped." Very cool. Yeah, that's crazy. Very crazy stuff. So, Paranormal Portal, show us your backyard. How far in the woods away from the city are you? I'm in the little city. I'm like in the little city. It's only a city of about 12,000 people, so it's not like there's an inundation of lights and stuff around. But there are lights around, and there's some light pollution. But whatever this was right over us, and going and dead silent. And like I said, only about 1,000 feet up, but it was cruising. It was cruising faster than a plane. It was just like, I don't know if you can see my hand, but it was like that. He saw it when I was way off. He's like, "Dad, what's that?" And I look, and sure enough, I'm seeing it. I'm like, "Oh." And I'm looking, because I'm looking for blinking. I'm looking for any kind of indicator lights that says it's a terrestrial craft. And it just was orange. That was the only light, and it was just steady orange and just shot over us. Not like a shooting star, not that quick, but south of a shooting star in speed, but way north of a regular airplane. It was just, it was really pretty cool. Really cool. There you go. Another fantastic show, said Jason Finch. God bless you, sir. Thank you. My mom reported similar in the UK in December. Oh, very cool. I've seen the orange ball thing in Michigan. Thought it was the sun at first, but it ascended too quickly. Wow, great catch. Yeah. Oh no, we missed the cryptids again. Well, I am sorry, buddy. I only got so much show in me. And we burned up a lot of clock. I will do all the cryptids I can on the next show. I'll try not to fill up so much of the what the hell is that, but I think we all have been having a lot of fun discussing and talking about these things and voting on them. And I love the interplay, as you guys vote, you guys are participating. It's really cool. I've really, really enjoyed this inclusion on the show. Nightcaps joined us over on Rumble. Hey, rated the stream. God bless you. God bless you, Nightcaps. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, Art Bell fans in here. Good to see you. Excellent to have you here. Always welcome to meet new people. Thank you so much. And that's going to wrap it up for the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have had a good time. Aw, thank you, Maggie. You are such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Great show, Brent, as always, until Wednesday. Thank you, Eric. It was a pleasure being here with you guys. Does Starlink have an outline around all the sets as a whole? No, but they look like lights themselves. They don't have the regular navigational lights, but they are lit. They do have lights on them as they fly over, but they're not blinky lights. They're just it's like a cluster of stars moving in a group is what it looks like. But they do cruise pretty quickly. I mean, they move. But good night, Brent. Good night. Rachel gets it right. Phil Funk. Well, good night to everybody. I'll restart membership when petrol prices go down. No worries, Maggie. There's never any pressure. Just know I love you guys, and if you can support the show like that, great. If you can't, just like the streams, post comments on them when they're not live, and share them. That would mean the world to me. I really want to see this keep growing, and there's lots of ways to help do that. Monetary is only one way. There's lots of other ways that don't cost anything, but they mean the world to me all the same. So I love you guys. That's what I got for you tonight. A great show as always. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it, brother. And I just want to remember, I don't to every bedtime, Art Bell. Yeah, Art Bell. All right. All I can tell you is I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other and help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll see you on Wednesday night. We do these shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So come join us. We'd love to have you here. That's all I got for you. I'm going to go kick my legs up and be leisurely. All right. Good night, everybody.